Hey guys, Tyler here. Galaxy Quest is a 1999 comedy movie that parodies and pays homage to various sci-fi franchises, including and especially Star Trek and its fandom. Starring Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, and an ensemble, Galaxy Quest depicts the cast of a fictional TV series of the same name, as they are drawn into a real interstellar conflict by aliens who think that the show is a documentary. A modest box office success that has won multiple awards and been praised by critics, Galaxy Quest is not only highly regarded by mainstream audiences, but it's even considered an honorary Trek film. Despite having a relatively small budget of $45 million, the film has mind-blowing special effects and makeup that still hold up to this day. Okay, maybe not entirely, but still not bad for 1999. As many people in my audience have surely seen Galaxy Quest, it only feels right that I examine the biology, history, and culture of the film's key alien species. Even if you haven't seen the film, I encourage you to stick around, as I'll try to avoid any major plot elements that could serve as spoilers. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the Thermians. The Thermians are a race of octopods native to the planet Thermia. We don't know too much about their homeworld, as it's been long decimated by a supernova, but it's likely to have been relatively Earth-like, as the Thermians resemble cephalopods and are said to have emerged millions of years ago from Thermia's oceans. In addition to their abundance of squid-like legs and tentacles, another trait that connects Thermians to Earth cephalopods is that their skin can change color depending on their emotional state. This form of camouflage is quite common in several species of octopus, squid, cuttlefish, and others. Many astrobiologists have speculated that similar characteristics like bioluminescence could serve as the basis for alien communication, as vocalizations are merely one manner in which complex languages could theoretically have evolved. Of course, the Thermians do have a spoken language, and what a language it is.
Okie dokie.
But this color trait does help aid the Thermians in their communication. Thermians also have blue blood, which may use the protein hemocyanin instead of hemoglobin to transport oxygen. Hemocyanin is copper-based rather than iron-based and floats freely in the blood rather than binding to red blood cells. Such blue blood is yet another trait shared by some Earth crustaceans, spiders, and some mollusks, octopuses, and squids. Regarding the Thermians' homeworld, the supernova that crippled it occurred 5 million years ago. At first, the Thermians adapted by moving underground, but eventually many were forced off of their homeworld, settling on the moon Zaktor. This migration brought a measure of stability to Thermian society, but eventually the political differences between the Thermian populations on both worlds grew too intense. This left an opening for the quasi-reptilian Fatu-Krey to deliver another crippling blow to the Thermians. The species fell into disarray for over a century, being enslaved by the Ceres Dominion, an interstellar dictatorship originating on the Fatu-Krey homeworld. It was only after they started to receive transmissions from Earth that the Thermians were finally able to reunite. Culturally, the Thermians are very kind, but despite their high intelligence, they are extremely naive and gullible. As they have no concept of fiction or deceit, they have mistaken broadcasts of human television programs as historical documents, including, of course, the Galaxy Quest TV show, as well as Gilligan's Island. They remodeled their entire society based on Galaxy Quest, failing to understand the true nature of the program. And much of their modern technology is derived from what they have seen in the series. In order to better emulate their idols, they created devices called appearance generators that allow them to assume a humanoid form. They also have food replicators, organ fabrication devices, universal translators, and are of course adept at interstellar travel, both ship-bound and through the use of personal pods and transporter-like devices. The Fatu-Krey may at first seem even more straightforward from an evolutionary biology standpoint. They're reptilian-looking humanoids, not an uncommon design in sci-fi. But for these green-skinned bipeds, there's more than meets the eye. They are apparently descended from a lobster-like creature, and their eyes are referred to as compound. This brings up some very intriguing possibilities, as the evolution of an intelligent alien species is not expected to follow the same route that our evolution did on Earth. For instance, the reason that we have 2 arms and 2 legs is because our fishy ancestors that crawled onto land happened to have 4-lobed fins, although there's considerable debate about the exact details surrounding this. The Thermians make sense on paper because even with prehensile tentacles instead of fingers, octopuses are very smart, able to use tools and solve elaborate puzzles. The Fatu-Krey's distant ancestors may have been arthropods that migrated onto land in a manner similar to crustaceans. But instead of evolving into insects, these arthropods would have responded differently to different environmental pressures. Arthropods with enough dexterity could have developed and manipulated tools. And if they had an exoskeleton, in order to grow large enough to develop complex brains, they could have evolved endoskeletons instead, or perhaps a combination of both. This is because of a phenomenon called the square-cube law. As an organism's surface area increases, its volume increases exponentially faster, literally, because square and cube, you know, math. This is why giant insects would be crushed under their own weight in Earth's gravity with its current atmospheric pressure and concentration of oxygen. Arthropods millions of years ago were able to grow larger as oxygen was more abundant. But on Fatu-Krey, environmental pressures evidently favored different adaptations. As for the compound eyes, while such photoreceptors generally have poor resolution, the Fatu-Krey are said to be crepuscular. That is, their eyesight and their overall metabolism would be adapted for twilight conditions, in contrast to animals that are either nocturnal or diurnal. This could indicate that Fatu-Krey orbits a star that is dimmer than our Sun, such as a K-type or even M-type star. Compound eyes also grant an animal a large field of view and the ability to detect fast movement, which of course would come in handy for predation. The Fatu-Krey are tyrannical, oppressive, aggressive, and abusive under the leadership of the Ceres Dominion. It's implied that they are a patriarchal society, with women being second-class citizens. They are said to have taken women from other worlds against their will and forced them into sexual slavery. Much of their technology also uses biological components. Even their guns seem to be made of a chitinous material. They have an understanding of cybernetics, and their ships are known to possess artificial intelligence. They have stolen technology from numerous other species, most notably the Thermians, as they have similar transporter technology. Whew. Oh, pardon me, I just got back from trying a little bit of whatever Tony Shalhoub was having while all that stuff was going on in the movie.
That was a hell of a thing.
Before we go any further, I also want to take this opportunity to remind you guys that according to my analytics, over 75%, that's 3/4 of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. That's gotta change. If you're enjoying this video and you want to see more like it, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss future updates. Now, back to Galaxy Quest. The Blue Demons are a diminutive humanoid alien species native to the planet Epsilon Gorniar 2.
Hey, don't open that! It's an alien planet! Is there air? You don't know!
Which orbits a binary star and has large deposits of beryllium. They highly resemble human children, including their rounded faces and cooing noises. However, they are anything but innocent. I personally found them to be extremely creepy. They are extremely violent and volatile, even appearing to be cannibalistic. They don't seem to have much of a significant culture, though they are spotted squatting at an abandoned mining facility. They even seem to revere another life form on the planet, the biolithic Gorignak. Angered greatly by sounds and vibrations in the ground, this rock-based creature is at least partially sapient and goes on a rampage whenever it is provoked. They may even be able to survive the vacuum of space. The Gorignak is believed to have inspired the boss Thartus from the game Metroid Prime, as both consist of floating boulders arranged in a vaguely humanoid shape. One of the senior artists on the game, Mike Sneath, has said that Thartus was based on a movie monster, most likely Gorignak. Okay, I couldn't finish this video without talking about the Mak'Tar. I debated whether to even include them in this video, as they are fictional even within the context of Galaxy Quest, being an alien species created for the in-universe Galaxy Quest TV show. But hey, what's a Galaxy Quest alien species video without the Mak'Tar? Right, exactly. Not much is known about Mak'Tar anatomy or physiology besides the readily observable. They may be amphibious in nature, and their diet is at least partially insectivorous. They resemble humans in terms of their basic body plan, though notably, instead of head hair, they have cartilaginous scalp crests. These structures are rigid, and the middle one sports 3 lines of ridged nubs that become stiff frills along the back of the head and are purple in color. Small, less rigid frills resembling tiny tentacles grow along the back of the neck, behind the ears, and where a human's sideburns would be. 5 small cavities also appear on each side of the head that may serve as nostrils, though their purpose is unknown. Overall, their head shape vaguely reminds me of the Asari from Mass Effect. Mak'Tar reproduction is also quite a mystery, though evidently it involves offspring carrying a fertilized embryo in a sac that is affected by hormonal changes. Yeah, that's f***ing weird. The Mak'Tar's cultural beliefs and practices are codified in the Code of Mak'Tar. They appear to practice a polytheistic religion, revering many gods and legendary figures. The most culturally revered appears to be Grabthar, whose hammer is a fearsome and mythical weapon. The Mak'Tar are largely peaceful, though they do practice ritual combat. They are capable of great anger and seem to believe in retributive justice. A common utterance delivered by Mak'Tar preparing for revenge is, "By Grabthar's hammer, by the sons of Warvan, you shall be avenged." In the series continuity, the Mak'Tar homeworld was invaded by the Meechans, and the character Dr. Lazarus escaped this conflict as a child. This traumatic experience would change him forever, the memories of the genocide of his people haunting him for years. So, how plausible are the aliens of Galaxy Quest? Well, as far as sci-fi aliens go, they actually have some pretty unique designs. The makeup and CGI used to bring these aliens to life is quite impressive. Okay, again, maybe the CG is a little dated, but you get what I'm trying to say. They did a good job with the tools that they had. One thing holding these aliens back is that they do tend to fit categories that are already familiar. Cephalopods, reptilians, humanoids, what have you. Real aliens, on the other hand, may look nothing like we expect. The upright bipedal stature, for example, could be rare in the universe. Or maybe not, we just don't know. At least not yet. But I think Galaxy Quest does do a good job at balancing the two tidal forces constantly at work in sci-fi, making aliens alien, but also making them relatable. Galaxy Quest is also a rare gem in that it really focuses on the diversity of alien psychology. The Thermians having no concept of fiction, the Fatu-Krey being aggressive and territorial, stereotypically reptilian traits, the blue demons appearing to lack even basic morality, it's honestly quite mature for a satirical comedy film. It's almost like the movie was originally going to be rated R before the studio decided to interfere, wink wink. The truth is, in addition to aliens' forms, we also have no idea what their motives would be. In fact, motive and psychology could be two factors that solve the Fermi paradox, but maybe that's a story for another time. With that, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below and don't forget to share it. That stuff really helps me out. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that as well so you won't miss future uploads, and click the bell icon to receive all notifications. If you want to support my work even further, becoming a patron or a member is a great way to do so. Links to those, as well as my social media and merch store, are in the description. That's all I have for this week. And remember, never give up. Never surrender.
By Grabthar's hammer. What a savings.